I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, and the second cancer, although it didn't kill me, has made me live with a chronic illness since I was diagnosed, because it's a pituitary tumor that's in my brain that was inoperable. So at 27, I got diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. I was 6 months pregnant with my second child at the time. And they told me, because it's cancer and you need chemotherapy, you can actually basically abort your child. But I was 6 months pregnant. And it's that moment, back to when we talk about harmony and balance and then hard decisions and tough decisions. My doctor was like, this is a medical decision, and honestly, if we don't get you chemo and all the things immediately, you're delaying. And I said, for me, it's just not gonna happen, right? So I will take the risk. We got 2.5 months. Chica, and my daughter, Jordan, who is now here and thriving. She's in art school. And then went through the chemo round. I was 27. I already had a 5-year-old daughter. I was very ambitious. I came out of my mother's womb that way. I don't know if any of you, your mom was like, I don't even know how to deal with you, because I wanted to be like Britney Spears. It was like, I was gonna be a young, successful mom, no matter what, right? I was upwardly mobile, had the 5-year-old, had survived that. So literally I give birth 2 weeks later, I'm getting chemo. So I couldn't breast, all the things that happened. And I was in a marriage that didn't work. And it was a really tough thing to manage all that. Then I get through it, thank God. And a 1.5 years later, I'm getting these debilitating migraines, which I thought, I had never gotten migraines growing up. I just thought, I'm just stressed. I've got 2 damn kids. And I'm like, career. I'm just stressed, and I don't really like my husband that much. So there was like all these things. So I'm just thinking, I'm just overwhelmed, which I was, yes. But when I noticed that every month, for at least 7 to 10 days, I felt awful. I couldn't be outside, everything hurt. After ignoring it for 4 or 5 months, I finally go in, they're telling me it's all the things in the book. Finally, they send me to a neurologist. I get an MRI, and sure enough, I have a brain tumor. I was 28. By that time, I'm like, wow, thanks God, that's cool. I really appreciate you for all this struggle. Don't you know I got shit to do here? Like, you put me here because I've got things to do. It was inoperable, but I got radiation, and the point is that what I knew at that moment too is they gave me a choice. They said, here's what you could do. Basically, because your pituitary, your whole endocrine system, for those of you nurse me not, it affects your hormones. So what's happening is my body would attack me before my cycle. So that's what really was happening. My entire body was like, my pituitary was sending a message to my womb, basically. It was like, you could get a hysterectomy. We don't know if it's gonna work, but at 28, it was like, you should do that and we'll try it. I'm like, I don't know. I knew I wasn't going with kids, or I thought it was, because you do the math. But it wasn't because I didn't want to have more children. It wasn't because I wanted more children. It was because I don't know if I want to go into menopause at 28. And I figured there's going to be something that works. And by the way, I'm not in health or wellness, but from that moment on, I knew that I had to really check what could trigger that. And I can't avoid it. The good news is it's predictable. And that's what I wanted to go into next. So on the surface, hi, I'm Jen Kim. On the surface, I basically help people get seen, heard, and paid to be themselves. That's simply what I do. But what I really do is I can smell the money. That's like my superpower. And so my whole thing is, especially when it comes to women, I really believe nothing bad happens when women get rich and recognized. Like, nothing bad happens, only good things happen. And so I run multiple companies. One is Master Brand Institute, where we basically work with personal product and company brands to be the choice in the market that they're in. I've worked with everyone from Oprah to Sherry Ann, that secret weapon, that rainmaker, and the Kris Jenner. Ultimately, what I wanted to say about balance, since we're going there, to me, balance is a lie. And the moment that you accept that, you're not going to be feeling guilty about it. And it's especially true for women, all of the invisible labor that we extend, besides being ambitious, and that we have to even apologize for our ambition. That ambitious makes you less feminine. I call bullshit on that too. But I feel like that's the biggest issue, is we're fighting against these branded adjectives for us. And instead of worrying about that, ask yourself, does my life feel harmonious right now? And harmony is different than balance, right? Harmony is about symphony, it's about the music, right? It's about what song is being played, and sometimes it's a sad song, y'all. Sometimes it's heavy metal, it's hella loud, and it's a racket, and sometimes it's just chill. And if you understand that all of those things are gonna happen, then you'll be less overwhelmed. I don't believe in balance, and I also believe that nothing has ever happened good in the world. Friction, pressure, and noise present. And there's a difference between healthy friction, pressure, and noise, and unhealthy pressure, friction, and noise. And I heard Bina talk about taking action. Like I haven't been here, but action sometimes feels like friction.
Yeah.
And the main question you need to ask yourself is this healthy friction for me? Because it's where healthy friction meets your decisions is where you can create success. And I don't mean just in business. Money is easy. It's actually dealing with other people that's hard, okay? And so my greatest advice for harmony is get good at leaning into healthy friction. So for me, it's my calendar is my boss, nobody else is my boss. And if it's on my calendar, it's gonna get done. If it's not, and I have grace around that. I like to say my calendar is not my business calendar, because trying to separate your business from your life is one of the biggest problems you have.
Yeah.
And it's not even a family calendar. It's just a life calendar, and everyone in the family is required to put what's going on in their life in it, including my business activities, including my husband's business activities, because then we can have conversations about where we will collide. But a lot of times as women, we hide our business goals from the other people in the family because we're like, oh, we can handle it on our own, and we don't want to look like the bad mom. Hey, mom can't come to, I can't go to that jiu-jitsu tournament next week because I'm going to be in Vancouver speaking. But now I can have a conversation with my son and say, hey, I can't be next week, but I will be at this one, and I'll make sure that nothing gets planned around it 3 months from now. Calendar matters, but it doesn't matter if you're not sharing it with the people who are affected by your calendar.
Right.
And you have to be transparent. And again, you're gonna find conflicts, some resentment, but if we're afraid to have those conversations and saying, oh, we have a collision here, right? It doesn't have to be us all the time defaulting to we've gotta make the sacrifice. That's my point. When you use a calendar, because for those of you married to men, they are pretty straight shooter. Actually, they respond to tools better than our words. So what I've learned is use the tool and show them how it wins for them, and then your life is easier, girlfriend. That's what I do. And I think that, again, if you try to separate, and so that includes your self-care.
Absolutely.
Schedule it, right? That includes when you're going to speak at something, or you have, even this month, it's like, hey, I call it my unicorn team, even my internal team, my family's my unicorn team too, right? I'm like, hey, I have a sales goal, or I have an event of my own that I'm producing in 2 months. I'm letting you know this is the kind of pressure, friction, and noise I'm currently in, and I'm not saying you can't bring trouble. Pneumonia, you can't. It might come my way, but that's why you got to build it to be transparent first, and then understand that you need cartilage between the bones, right? And the cartilage is what I call run your life like bamboo, not cement, right? Bamboo is the most sustainable building material in the world, right? You can cut it down, it'll grow back. It's completely biodegradable. It actually helps you breathe more. But when we build a business and a life based on cement, actually rigid and stiff, so you need to be fluid and flexible. I literally told my family, you need to be on fire or bleeding profusely if I'm on a business call, because it's transparent. It's not like I'm like, get out of my face. No. I'm not talking to you. It's more like, mommy's on a call. Are you okay? Because if you're not okay, then meaning, can you self-soothe? Even teaching your kids to be independent by learning how you organize things. But the funny thing is, I always say, I'm the most organized person ever.
Me too.
Okay? Me too. So structure creates freedom. And you need anchors in your life. You can't have a ton of variables so that you have room for variables. So I have an assistant, and people have asked me, okay, Jen, if you were like starting all over, because I'm a seasoned chicken, like Sherry Ann, been doing this a long time. And I've got a 27-year-old, a 22-year-old, and a 9-year-old, right? What was I crazy to have a kid at 40? But anyway, I knew that I had to fight for structure. And if I couldn't be the one making myself guilty that I need to be the most organized person, I need to invest in someone organizing me. And it's paid off literally millions from doing that. And sometimes we're making decisions, right? I'm like, if I was going back to 2006 when I started my own company after I left the corporate world, the first thing I would do is get somebody to clean my house once a week. That would be the first thing I would do, instead of being the good Filipino girl that I am and worried that my mom was gonna judge me. And by the way, my mother, I'm 50 and my mother still judges me. And like, you have a real job.
Whose mom still judges them?
I'm like, that's never gonna change, friends, just to let you know. But the second thing is like being able to say, hey, I actually am not the best person to get this all, so I just dump out during the week to my assistant. These are all the things that I have going on. She plots them, and then I actually tell her, can you go check in with my husband and see if he didn't put something in here? I just want to add something, because I think it'll help. One thing, and I've been doing this a long time. This is an experiment we just started a couple of years ago, but it has worked very well. So now you got all the calendaring and then getting over the fact that you're not an organized person, but you're getting somebody to help you. The third thing I was like, is my husband started to go, where's us in this equation, right?
Yes.
What I like stacking goals and stacking results. I call it fancy, lazy living, okay? Just like this dress. I look fancy, but this is lazy, okay? Because it's a caftan. I just put it on and I look dressed up, right? So that's how I approach my life. So I told my husband, brunch, Sherry and I were just talking, she's like, I know you love brunch. Everybody knows me, I'm a brunch girl. If you invite me to brunch, if I don't know you, I'll probably go, okay? That's gonna be like, so it's my favorite meal. So I was like, you know what, babe, why don't we weekly on Fridays go to brunch at 11 o'clock? And that'll be our weekly standard date. And guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna review our calendar for the next week together.
Yep.
And it's fun. It's, hey, what do I appreciate about you? What do you appreciate of me? And I'm getting to eat bacon, having a Bloody Mary, and it's super awesome. And he is too. And he's happy because he's also seen and fed, literally and figuratively. And we just go, hey, let's just look at our schedule the next week or so, just so we get clear, and it just changes the game. So that's another way to do it. Or this really helped me. Watch what you're calling your success metrics. Because that's what kind of, a lot of times, even in the country we live in, the biggest success metric of a country is GDP, gross national product.
We're not gross national.
Okay, yes, money is delicious. I'm a big fan, okay? Money gives us options, but the pursuit of money only, right? When, frankly, as women, as mothers, the presence of these other, not just humans, but responsibilities, they're real. We can't delete them. If we wanted to delete them, then you should probably just leave your family. Back to choices and decisions, right? So it's like, when the question was like, what is the challenge? The truth is that it doesn't matter if you hit 6 figures, 7 figures, or 8 figures, because every level you're gonna meet a new devil anyway.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay,
New level.
so devil. So I call it this next level, next devil moment. So you keep chasing 7 figures and 8 figures, and trust me, because that's what my company, we've done. Every single time I've hit a new level, definitely the devil comes harder. And I mean that in the metaphorical sense, right? There will actually more chaos will ensue. When you talk about your brand and you want more people to know you, guess what? The more visible you are, the more haters are gonna come because you're visible, right? So to go, oh, I just don't want them to treat me like that. I'm like, success is not about this utopian fantasy. We are not Disney princesses that need to be saved, that are trying to achieve a castle-like goal. I always say too, there's really no such thing as a business problem. You can find a mentor, you can take a class, you can get help. Every business problem has an answer. But if you don't work out your personal stuff, it's the personal stuff that actually will create the friction that makes you get burned out. This idea of momentum comes from effort. So the key is you gotta choose the right effort. You gotta decide the right effort is what's worth the effort. Because it doesn't matter if you sell a $10 thing or a $10,000 thing, the effort's actually the same. That's true. If anybody tells you differently, they're lying.
They're lying.
A $10 product, okay, you need volume to make money. Can't live off 5 people buying a $10 product to go get 5 $10,000 clients.
Right.
Same amount of effort, but you probably have to be a little bit more brave because you can't hide behind the product. You have to be like, hey, I'd like to help you. And so when we talk about challenges, I cannot emphasize more how understanding that constraints are your friend. We make the words friction and pressure, noise, constraints, negatives. And it's not negative or positive, it's just real. The minute we get real, that these are real things, we can embrace and be with them instead of denying that they're there, because there's a difference between your dream and your fantasy. The dream is real, the fantasy is not. This idea of being okay with your decisions, guess what? Every decision you make is not going to work out. Success is predicated by a ton of failure. There would be no success without failure, and vice versa, right? So it's all relationship. That's what I'm trying to say about harmony. Like all of these things are in relationship, so us trying to deny what we're calling negative or shadow or whatever, they are real. And so is success, because we're all representative of that. And so back to like me, challenging is always, even when I've hit a financial goal, to go, oh, how's this gonna make my life harder? Remember that my identity, because identity, I'm a brand person, right? So I build brands for a living. And identity is tricky. Like you wanna have an identity as a successful person, then you have to name what success looks like for you. That's what success is. And that becomes the identity that you are making clear decisions on. This is the identity. And guess what? When you hit that identity, what's gonna happen? Next level. And you might go, wow, I like that I created a 7-figure business, but I don't like how not present I am with my children. And last night, after I had a really tough day yesterday, let's just put it that way, because I'm in a push season. I have a big book coming out, I have a big event that's happening in October, and a lot of things have to happen. I'm rallying new team on board. It's just a lot. And like when you're dealing with new people, you're like, ugh, people, right? My daughter was visiting, she actually just left. She lives in San Diego, she's 27. And I was like, you guys want to eat Japanese food? And so Noah's, yes, right? And Michaela, my oldest daughter, was visiting, she just left today. She was like, yes. So we go and we're eating Japanese food, just me and the two of them, not the dad. We're just like, we're gonna go. And my daughter goes, 27. And she's the kid, I was just like, that I always felt guilty. Oh, she really had to bear so much. Because even when I had Jordan, my second daughter who's in Hawaii in school, she saw me going through the pregnancy, the cancer diagnosis, the overwhelm, the relationship with her father. And I was like, I'm gonna fuck this kid up, right? And last night, first of all, she was the one telling Noah, let's have a conversation and not look at our phones. I was like, yes. Second thing was, the fact that my daughter, she lives on her own, pays her own bills, all the things, and she comes to visit me because she likes me. And I thought I just ruined her, right? Because I was a total hot mess. Now I'm a functional hot mess. There's a difference, right? So we're all functional hot messes here, you know what I mean? So I feel like now that's my success metric. Do my kids still want to spend time with me no matter what age they are? Like instead of, yeah, and of course I have money now because I've learned how to make it and do it in a way that fits for me. But I also say that like the shortcut is doing the thing you don't want to do. The shortcut is making the decision, even if you're wrong. The shortcut is choosing an identity that is success ingredients that matter to only you, right? Like instead of what society sees as successful, whether it's your title or how much money you have in the bank. Yes, have money. Yes, help people, be seen. Let people know that you can help them. For me, all I care about is like, will my kids still want to visit me when I'm old and not useful anymore, or whatever my story is. All the mind trash that we tell ourselves literally daily, right? Again, if you look at me, I built 8-figure businesses. I work with the biggest companies and the biggest celebrities and the most amazing entrepreneurs in the world. And I can tell you, they ain't no different than anybody in here. Not a moment. And them being famous or rich does not make them better. They are struggling with the same shit we all are, and if you keep remembering that, the challenges you face, you go, oh, Oprah's like that too. Oh, Michelle Obama's that too. Oh, functional hot messes. Yes, my daughter likes to come visit me. but there's stuff she has to work out that she's mad at me about, I just want to be clear. I'm taking that one thing and going, I'm so grateful that she still loves me, that she still wants to talk to me. But when she's in overwhelm, she lashes out. Mom, that time that you didn't do this and all that, that's still gonna happen is I guess the point. That's why you have to give yourself some grace. Like you have to give yourself some grace and then use the systems to help support them. The systems aren't like this miracle thing that we're sharing. It's more of an 80-20 rule, right? It's like it'll help support you so that you can make better decisions faster, so that you can surround yourself with space, right? So that you can figure out how to live in a world where humans are less important than machines. And how our children, even with COVID, ourselves for God's sakes, the mental strain that put on us as a society, the polarization, like we can't even talk to each other anymore, right? In politics and economics, and again, I'm old, so I'm like, man, during the Reagan years, if you didn't like him, or Carter, how could you not like Jimmy Carter, right? But I didn't vote, I was 5. I'm not trying to talk about politics, my point is, people would still talk to each other, even if they didn't agree.
Yeah.
And it's like, we live in a world now where that extra pressure, friction, and noise, that extra conflict energy, because there's energy in the air, it's invisible too, that poisons already a subconscious mind that is already a tricky ass bitch. She will lie to us to protect us because she's our mom. I call my subconscious Anita. She's my mother. She's the one trying to protect me. Don't do this. Don't work for the government, Jen. Or be a doctor. I was like, I don't like blood and I don't want to work for the government. I would implode the whole thing, whatever. And it's just so interesting, right? So my point is even constraints. We talk about constraints. How they're beautiful. Everybody talks about boundaries, but because, I'm a brand person, so boundaries are boring now to me because everybody's saying it. And they're beautiful because it gives me an anchor to organize what I care about around. When you're a family first model, you're organizing the family and then it becomes the sun. Yep. And everything else becomes the planets and the moons. That's what a constraint is. It's beautiful. So a constraint, even of you guys recognizing that we got to get out of the house. My son, when he saw the beach, he was like, let's go, Mom. And I can tell him not to use, he's here, he has to say this. So I was like, okay, give the Robux because we're here with a bunch of women. He's just going to be sitting there. But the minute we go outside, it's like the ocean. Yeah. Let's go see the ocean. Let's go look at the boats. Let's go chase the birds. And we do need to just go outside more too because Mother Nature never lies. And she will always win. And we just that means we're the mother too. We must do what is natural. That's also one of my rules. Yeah. Is this natural or unnatural? Am I living in the natural world? It doesn't mean you have to be a tree hugger if you are. I love it. Obviously, I'm not. And I love nature, and this is also why during COVID, we moved out of our house and we moved onto a vineyard actually, not because I'm bougie, I don't even know how to farm. But more because I like space.
Own it, girl. It's fine.
And I wanted, and I worked really hard to create this life. And if you live in the Bay Area, you need to have money to live here. That's what I meant by constraint. So when people were like, move to Austin, move to Florida, and if any of you are from there, I'm sorry, Texas or Florida, you could not pay me money to live in those states, okay? No, not even $100 million. That constraint of knowing I need to make enough
to live here,
and I want a relationship with my family, and I want to take care of me, because I want to be here and thriving and vibrant as long as possible. I'm like, then I will work for what I call the right hard things. Right. But everything else is a waste, right? So I also hate when people are like, make effort, here's a shortcut. I'm on my laptop on the beach. I'm like, if you're on your laptop on a beach, you're gonna die, literally, because your laptop will explode. It is dangerous. So trust me, I'm a brand expert. I'm like, okay, but and again, when you're good at marketing yourself, which most people are not, That's why people who know how to market will always be wealthier than everybody else. Really. So what we've got to do as women, and I've been saying this for a long time because I'm really good at it, you can either choose to be General Leia or Darth Vader, right? I choose to be General Leia, and I've still gotten rich, and I still have my family, but I definitely burnt myself out. I definitely went through a horrible marriage. I lost my business in 2008 during the recession, completely decimated me, was functionally homeless in 2008. All of us are amazing, like we're here. Mm-hmm. We've been through some stuff. Each one of us has our own stuff, and by the way, more stuff's coming. Because just because you sitting on a panel in the front of the room, more stuff is coming. Amen. Yay. It's so important for us to be reflections, to be mirrors to our daughters, to our sons, to the world, and saying you can be a functional hot mess, rich, and a caring, kind person.
Yeah.
It is so possible. We are all those people here. So we just need to make sure it goes everywhere. Don't just get your little nugget here from even Vina's event. It's amazing. Thank you for putting this together, because it's so important to have actually this intensity too. Because out there is dangerous. In this room it feels real good right now. Okay? Yeah. The most dangerous part of a rocket going to space is not it lifting off. It's actually coming back into the atmosphere. So you're going to leave here and you're going to be with your family and your friends and other humans that don't even get it. And just remember, you're always going to be in that, because we live in the world that we live in. So just be a leader and things will change. I'm writing a book. It's called Unicorn Team. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. It's coming out February 2025. Published by Penguin. When I got my book deal, they wanted me to write a book on messaging, because I've been able to create a subscriber list of over 400,000 emails, and I've worked with some really big names, and they were like, you should talk about messaging and brand. And I said, actually, we elevate always the vision person. And you do need to, because the person with vision, all of us, for big ideas to come to life, you need vision. And there's no such thing as being self-made. And a lot of times we don't look at the strategizer or the mobilizer types of people that you need. And that's true in your home, in your business, in your life. And I like to call myself a visionizer, not a visionary, because izer means action. We have a problem in the entrepreneurial space because of the online world, okay? Airy, -ARY means stationary, does not move. It is the fantasy, okay? So I'm trying to change the language, but that's what people who do brand do, okay? And so for me, it was like helping women especially understand that you need strategy and mobilization behind you in order for the dream to come alive. And that includes your family. That includes the things that you desire for your life, so that you can be in your big vision, and that your vision can have energetic action, not just you working all the time, but your vision will be actually propelled by the strategy and the mobilization. Mobilization is like the VAs, the help that you're gonna get, somebody to maybe take care of your house once a week, right? Your nanny, like whoever, these are mobilizers in your life that allow your vision to come real, and therefore those energies and those people are actually the people you need to find and surround yourself with. And so when you talk about like support at home, I unicorn team my whole life, and I fought for that book because they wanted me to write the other one, and they were like, we don't want this book, write it second. I said the biggest issue is that and why we are so divided is because we are putting individualism on a pedestal still, okay? And and that doesn't mean that you should not take care of you. There is a relationship between the you and the us. When my book comes out, I'll have a book launch, so I hope y'all come. Where I can really teach you like the way that I've architected it, because I was like, big brands, doesn't matter. Steve Jobs and Sarah Blakely both had a vision. Their vision is different than maybe yours. Steve Jobs wanted to build something that killed Microsoft. That was literally his vision. He had a vision that was very, what I call enemy-like. He was like, they're the enemy, and I want to elevate creatives. Sarah Blakely was like, I want to stop selling fax machines. But all of us, we might go, that's not what we want. We want to build a business that supports our lifestyle. We want freedom, autonomy, space, right? So their vision and your vision are not, your vision is not less worthy just because they have a different vision. That's what I want to get clear. So what they did is they worked really hard on strategy and mobilizing the right people around them. And you need to too, it doesn't matter what size of business you are. Because great brands, that's what they do. Whether you're tiny or you're big, right? And tiny by choice, FYI. Not tiny because you're less than, tiny by choice. And so I just want to say, like, how do I do it? Everything that I do is a unicorn team. I'm like, unicorns are the people that are rare. They are rare breeds. You are all rare. And the others are here. And they are looking for you. If you think you can't afford a team or a nanny or a whatever, oh, Pina has a nanny, I can't afford that. Oh, Sharon is a dog trainer. I couldn't get the, whatever. Her dog trainer is a unicorn on her team, making sure that her dog isn't a hot, crazy ass mess, pooping and making a lot of chaos. These unicorns are there to help us help alleviate some of the chaos in our lives so that our vision can come alive. But chaos will ensue. So we need unicorns. So it's like, how do you look for them? In my family, it's like now our language in my house is, we're all unicorns here. So what's the best space and where's our energy best served, right? My husband is a big time mobilizer energy. He's actually not a visionizer. He is a mobilizer. He loves accomplishment energy, finishing things, feeling like, I did it, babe. Did you see it? Finish this. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I don't want to finish anything. I just want people to listen to me and do it. That's what I want. And I'm really good at strategy, right? I'm really good at strategy. And I just want you to know, if people are like, Jen, you're so confident. I'm not confident. What I am is I'm clear what I want. Because when you start getting clear what you want, everybody's gonna call you confident too. And I also say I'm too old now. I just have no space for bullshit. Zero, right? I wish younger women would feel that earlier. Because I was not like this at 25 or 35.
No way, no.
I was more like, back to people, I didn't know I was a people pleaser, but basically I was. So anyway, think of it that way. You are a unicorn, but you're not the only one. There are others who want to help. There are mentors that would love to support you, but you have to be willing to show that you're gonna do the work and want it too, because nobody can want it more than you. No one. Your dog trainer can't want it more than you that your dog is doing the things, right? You have to want it more than that, but she's still going to get paid, meaning the dog trainer. I'm going to get paid no matter what. But when I leave here, you're going to be left with your dog. It's you and the dog. So anyway, I just want to leave you one more thing. Is I have a Post-it note, and I've written this Post-it note, and I've had it on my mirror for the past 15 years. And so it might help you. But it says, I have nothing to protect, I have nothing to hide, I have nothing to prove, and I have nothing to defend. And anytime I'm feeling like I need to protect, prove, hide, or defend anything, I just go look at my Post-it note and remember, I actually don't have to do any of that. I just need to be available for what I want.